and so begins the insulation. We're going to begin with the ceiling. We're going to put in R19 in the ceiling. This Owens Corning pink Eco Touch insulation. This particular rolls are made for 2x6 walls, which is what my ceiling joists and trusses are. But what's cool about it is this insulation is easily split if you need to run it behind some electrical wires or something. Plus it's real soft to the touch and it doesn't itch. Isn't that amazing? Okay, our overhead runs for our insulation, it's about 10 feet with 15 inches or 16 inch on centers. Our rolls were 39 feet long, 39 feet 2 inches I think, so we pre-cut them to 10 feet. Got them all pre-cut right there. Now it's just a matter of getting them from there to there. Well, as we saw when Bob was working by himself, he had to find ways to get things done by himself. Well, that was my case here. I had to find a way to get these 10-foot long strips up in the ceiling. Well, I just placed them over my little giant ladder, which that's a great ladder by the way, guys. And I just inched my way up, stapling, a foot at a time, and letting it balance over the back of the ladder to kind of support it and hold it up. If you noticed, every now and again you'll see some black tape there. That black tape is just a place where I put some duct tape so that I could staple it without it tearing out. The craft backing on this Owens Corning wanted to tear out occasionally with the staples, so that was a little tip from a friend of mine. Well, we've got the ceiling insulation completed. I said we were using the Owens Corning pink R19 insulation for the ceiling. Each run is 10 feet, so I had to cut them. That's why I went with the rolls. But for the walls, which are 8 feet high, 16 inches on center, I'm going to use John Mansfield R13 strips, or bats if you will. There's a product right there. There's 11 in a package. That give you an idea of cost. Here in Texas, this package was a little over $50. There's 11 in a package. I'm going to need 40 bats, so I'm going to need 4 packages of this, so I'm looking at about $200 to insulate the walls. It cost me about $220 to do the ceiling, so somewhere I'm close to about $500 by the time you add tax and a lot of other things. But this is what we're going to use on the walls. Started on the west wall, which is of course the hottest of them all here in Texas, and in the corner there, and it's just a matter of tucking it in to the corner, and then it's pretty much a friction fit on these 16-inch center walls. These bats are 15 inches wide, so it's a friction fit. So I could install 3, 4, 5, 6 at a time, and then fold out the little flap that you'll staple it to the 2x4 to the studs on. That's what I'm doing here. And that lets you get it up pretty quickly. And then I'll come back with a pneumatic nailer or brad gun. You'll see in just a second, and just secure everything. Some of the openings were less than 15 inches. You can see those right behind me, and then there was some in the corner. So I had to measure and mark, and then trim the bats to the right width. I think this one's going to go into a corner up by the door, but it's just a matter of marking it, trimming it, and then tucking it in. Okay, we've got all of our wall insulation in. It took me about 3 days. I was doing this by myself. That was not too bad. Something I didn't show you though is what I did in the ceiling. I covered the ceiling insulation with radiant barrier aluminum. Did this in my little shop where I lived before, and it bounces light around real well, and it also helps keep the building not quite so hot. And it's a lot easier to hang than, say, sheetrock or plywood or something in the ceiling. I want to put that same radiant barrier on this west wall, especially on this bottom part, and if I've got enough left, I'll go ahead and put it on the entire wall to help reflect some of this heat off of this west wall. Between those two windows and this door, this west wall is pretty warm. Well, we're getting closer and we're getting closer. So, you know, many of you may be asking, why didn't you just have it spray foamed in? Well, I had that price, and I have two different kinds of spray foam for this application, open cell and closed cell, and both of which are very expensive. I did have it priced. It was $1,800 to have this building spray foamed with insulation. As I told you earlier, I did it for just almost $500, a little over $500. So I just couldn't justify over 3 times the cost for that. It's a lot more work, and it took me almost 10 days to 2 weeks to do it myself, but I just couldn't justify the cost. Next week we will start putting the walls up on the OSB on the walls, and hopefully hanging the lights. I appreciate those that have been with us through this little journey. It's not far away now. We can get back to woodworking. So, but by the way, remember my hats are on my website, and I apologize. I know some of you have tried to purchase one and there was a problem with my PayPal account. I think my web person has got that squared away. I think she told me she was working on it and got it taken care of. We'd love your support. We appreciate everybody hanging in there with us. Until next time, you guys be safe. And as old Jimmy Dean used to say, he says, grin a little bit. It's good for you.